What's good, everybody? It's your brother Mad Black, the most dangerous and the most toxic black man on the internet. The brother who told you ladies to stop expecting these Rudy Poot dusty dudes to all of a sudden turn into men, but you did it anyway, and now you're sitting around complaining that he spent all of his engagement money on some chains for himself. And I'm black up in your face again with some more pro-black commentary. So I saw this very interesting post on a message board that was for black women, and I'm a little disappointed in just how ridiculous a lot of the young ladies on this board are. Okay, and what I mean by that is the original post was about Jim Jones, and for those who don't know who that is, not the cult leader, but the I can't even really call him a rapper. Can I? Can he's more like Cameron's hype man back in the Dipset days. So if you were a fan of Dipset back in like the early 2000s or just a fan of Cameron in the early 2000s, you'll recognize Jim Jones. He was kind of always there as like the background guy or the hype guy or the street guy in the group of Dipset. So like that's where I remember him from. And I guess he's on one of these ridiculous reality shows about, old rappers with their girlfriends or whatever, right? So he went out, I guess, and bought a whole bunch of chains for himself. I don't know if they're gold, platinum, diamond, or whatever. They might not even be real. But he bought a whole bunch of chains for himself, and he's kind of taking a picture with the Gucci hat and the chains and the man purse. And so this woman took that picture and then said, Jim Jones, who is 47 years old, still hasn't married Chrissy after 20 years. So I guess Chrissy is his girlfriend, right? And then she says, he could have spent his chain money on a ring. Shall we discuss encouraging men to grow up? Women have dreams. A man is supposed to help her manifest them. Okay. So I saw that post and I'm just sitting there looking at it, and then I went and read some of the other comments by some of the other females there. I really can't call them women if they think like this, but I looked at some of the other female comments and I'm sitting there looking at them like really? You expected Jim Jones to be a responsible man. This is the type of dude that you expected to be responsible and want to buy his girlfriend an engagement ring so he can marry her, even though he's had her. She's been with him for 20 years. So he's basically just getting whatever he wants out of her. He doesn't really need to give her anything like a ring. But you expect him to do that? You expect him to, or you're actually saying that we should encourage men to grow up? Well, first of all, you don't need to encourage a man to grow up because a man is already grown up, right? But if you're dealing with one of these Rudy Poot dusty dudes here, he's never going to grow up. He's not meant to grow up. Look at him. Does this look like an adult? He's old as hell. Yeah, he's older than I am, but he doesn't act like a responsible adult does, right? He doesn't even want to try to even look like one. He still looks like, I'm hanging out on the stoop at my mama's house. That's basically how he still looks, right? So, like, why are you expecting any type of manhood or man behavior for someone who still acts and looks like a little boy? That's what I'm saying here. It's like these females make these ridiculous choices when it comes to the types of guys that they're with. And then they expect these guys to just miraculously change and become men all of a sudden. It's like who are you? Who do you think you're dating? Who do you think you're with at this time? Because when I was younger, I can say that I remember like girls, they would get pregnant by some guy, right? And then they would say stuff like, well, no sooner as I got pregnant, the dude changed, right? And it got to the point where, like, when I'm in my late teens, early 20s, I would wind up like meeting their baby daddy, right? And I'm sitting there I'm looking at the dude, I'm looking back at the girl, then I'm looking at the dude, I'm looking back at the girl. I'm like, this guy was not father material. This guy, there's no way you can tell me that this guy changed. He didn't change into anything. He's always been this way. And there were situations where, I knew the guys that these girls were messing with. I'm like, this guy is not, he's not responsible. He's never shown any responsibility, right? But these girls would get with him for whatever goofy reason, right? It's usually not something that has, excuse me, it's not something that has anything to do with manhood or he's a man or whatever. It's usually maybe whatever possessions he has, or he has nice legs, or they like his hair, or it's always something stupid when girls are young. Let's just be honest about that, right? It's never because he's a responsible man. It's because of something superficial, right? When girls are young. This is not just black girls either. This is all types of girls, by the way. But like I would look at these guys and I'm just like, okay, this guy is not responsible. He doesn't have anything, at least not anything tangible, or he's, a goofball or into the street life or lazy or whatever, right? And these girls will get in relationships with these guys and then have the nerve to sit back and act shocked that nothing good has happened since they got with this guy. Or they have a baby by him and he doesn't take care of his responsibilities as a father. Like you expected this goofy Rudy Poot to all of a sudden turn to a man and a father figure after you had sex with him? Like what did you think was going to happen? You know what I mean? It's like a lot of these young girls have no type of logic, and it carries on to the point where even when they're into their 40s or whatever, they still don't have the same logic. Like you expect a dude that's been around you and been with you for 20 years to all of a sudden become your husband, or the guy that's been spending money all his life on cars and Gucci and man purses and chains. He's all of a sudden going to take that money and buy you a wedding ring. Why would you think that? Why would you even think that that's a possibility when he's never even shown you that type of attitude before, right? So that's what I mean when I see this stuff. Because like I said, I was looking at, like, I'm looking at the comments and then I'm looking at Jim Jones, and then I'm looking at the comments and I'm looking back at Jim Jones. I'm like, really? You expected him to be a man? Really? This is the dude you expected to be a man and have man-like principles, or what you pretend that you think is a man-type principle? Because let's talk about that. Just because he buys you a wedding ring or an engagement ring, that doesn't mean he's a man either, right? That's what you're thinking about your own selfishness. I mean, she even says it when she says that women have dreams and a man is supposed to help her manifest them. So even that, it's all about her own selfishness and what she wants out of this guy. And only if he does this, then that means he can achieve some form of manhood in her eyes if he does something for her. And even that's a false way to think. Because it's not about you. You're not the criteria to say what's a man and what's not. Only a man can do that, right? Especially when you just you're just looking for something selfish to aggrandize yourself, right? A man and a woman are supposed to build each other up together. It's not supposed to be just one person serving the other, and that's one of one of the things that a lot of people are confused about nowadays when it comes to relationships. Both the men and the women are thinking that the other gender is there just to serve them, and that's not how it's supposed to work. That's not what a union is about. That's definitely not what a marriage is about. I'm not supposed to be here to serve my wife. Likewise, she's not supposed to be here just to serve me. We are servicing each other. We are a group working together to achieve a goal. That's why it takes two of us to come together to make a child, you see, and build the next generation, and not just make the child, but raise that child and teach that child for the next generation, you see. So It's not just supposed to be me groveling on my knees and making her feel like a queen. Likewise, it's not supposed to be her serving and scraping on her knees to make me feel like a king. I don't need somebody to stroke my ego. That's not why I picked my wife. Okay? We're companions. We're supposed to be, we were two and we were brought together as one. That's what it says within the religious ceremonies of what a marriage is. So we are supposed to be of one mind and one body and supposed to be moving forward together. That's what that's about. That's what creating a union is about. It's not just about me and it's not just about her. Okay? So that's what all I wanted to say about this. And you folks can let me know how you feel about it in the comments section. I very much like to hear your opinions on this. I probably know what most people are going to say. But, ladies, you can't expect some Rudy Poot dude to all of a sudden turn into Prince Charming. Okay? Likewise, brothers, if you're with one of these hood rats, you can't expect her to all of a sudden turn into Claire Huxtable either. Okay? You guys have to have some common sense. But, a lot of people don't have common sense. That's obvious by the ridiculousness that I see about dating 24/7 on social media. But anyway, you folks let me know how you feel about it in the comments section. I very much like to hear your opinions on this. Anyway, Mad Black, and I will be back with my foot on the devil's back.